Alrighty, what is going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today, I'm going to be talking about how your private supplier is drop shipping you. And yes, you heard that right. 99% of the times, your private supplier that you got from your favorite YouTuber is scamming you, okay? And in this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly how this kind of process works and how to show you the reality of things and how you can actually leverage this to make you more money. Okay. I'm at a point with organic drop shipping that I'm, pretty much able to get, 50 to 70% profit margins with every single one of my products, just by the stuff that I'm going to be pretty much discussing today. So if you actually watch this video and don't have TikTok brain, you're going to be learning these three things, right? We're going to be learning how to be able to source products for the cheapest price, right? So 70% profit plus, okay? You're going to understand how private suppliers really work, and you're going to be able to leverage your experience and knowledge to 10x your income when it comes to talking to these private suppliers. Because at the end of the day, this is a whole entire business. They're making money off us, and we're making money off them. Okay. And again, like I like to say on all of my videos, this is no course bullshit. I'm just going to be going straight into the value. So if you guys do have a notepad or something to take notes with, go ahead and start taking notes, because it's something that's going to 100% help you. No matter if you're doing organic dropshipping in general, whatever the fuck it may be, this is going to 100% help you. And again, I'm not trying to sell you shit. I'm just going to pretty much give you this for free. The only thing I ask in return, and again, I don't ask much when it comes to these videos, is to just leave a like, subscribe, and just fucking watch the video. Okay, so like I said, these are the three main things that we're going to essentially be learning in this video. Okay, but the first thing that we need to understand is how this pretty much works, right? There's three main things that I have learned through experience that we have to pretty much like dissect before we even talk about private suppliers. So we have three things here, right? We have our private supplier, so agent shorty. We have the actual factory where, our products are being made. And then we also have the negotiation process, which we're actually talking to these Chinese suppliers and trying to get the best deal. But the only way we can actually, understand this is by breaking it down to the simplest level ever. Okay, so pretty much we have our private supplier, right? This is the real deal person, right? Usually your private supplier isn't like some fucking crazy looking dude, like mad mysterious. It's usually just like a normal person. Most of my private suppliers, I'm not even going to lie to you, have been female. So this is like the best thing I could get right here. And again, this is the real private supplier. And a lot of you, if you guys are in the space, you're going to be hearing, the names like Zendrop, AutoDS, GoShipPro. These are not actual private suppliers. These are like companies, right? These are companies, Chinese companies that are pretty much, delegating and using influencers, using gurus to essentially drive people to their platforms to make money. Because at the end of the day, this is all a business, right? But these aren't actual private suppliers. And again, I'm not shitting on these companies here, because at the end of the day, it really just depends on how good you are with negotiation and actually finding the right supplier for your type of product. Because I've had times where, I've hit up, some of these companies and they were able to provide me with better pricing. So it's just kind of like knowing what you're doing and just kind of like being able to negotiate. But again, the private supplier here, our agent shorty, she is going to be able to source products for the real price. Okay, so the AKA the factory price. This is going to be the best price possible, because she is literally buying the products from the factory right here. And again, I'm going to be talking about this a little bit more in depth, so just bear with me. And again, these people are usually based in China. Okay, that's just the broad reality of it. So what happens after this process, right? So typically your private supplier, once you find her, right, she'll essentially quote you for the product based on how much she can get it for, right? So at the end of the day, like I said, she is buying the product that you want from this factory, and then she's essentially reselling it to you. So essentially she'll take her cut. Okay, she'll take her cut of money, and then she'll charge you the shipping, which is usually UniExpress. Okay, that's what I've pretty much been, noticing is UniExpress is the best, and she'll give you the best price most of the time. Like I said, usually they'll give you the best price, but sometimes you'll see that like maybe these companies give you the best price, or yada yada yada. But What I need you to understand is that it's all a business. She's making money off you. You might think that you're getting the best prices, but at the end of the day, she's having her cut because again, she's putting in the work for you to find these like crazy untapped products for a cheap price, right? And again, I want you to think of this as a reseller. I don't know if you guys don't understand what reselling is. So back in the day, I used to sell like a whole bunch of Yeezys and shit. So usually what I do is I'd like go to the Nike outlet and I'd buy, and these outlets are like factory outlets where you'd buy the shoe for like super, super cheap. And then I'd resell it to other people on Facebook Marketplace for a higher price. So again, I was basically an agent, right? I was reselling my products that I was getting from the factory. It's pretty simple. Okay. So when you understand that the private supplier is just a normal girl in China buying products from factories and reselling it to you for a higher price, then you kind of get to understand the gist, right? But before we even get further into this, we have to understand what a factory truly is. As you guys can see, this is probably like a fucking oil rig. I don't even know. I just found this on Google. But essentially factories, right? So understanding factories, right? These are massive factories in China that basically print out hundreds and thousands of products. Like these guys are the fucking real deal, bro. Like these are massive, massive factories that are essentially making a crap ton of your products that you're seeing on AliExpress, whatever it may be. So then what these factories do is they then list their products on B2B platforms like 1688, Alibaba, Made in China, etc. B2B essentially means business to business. So these are platforms right here. Let me get my pen that you can essentially tap into to be able to buy products directly from the factory. So yes, you will be getting factory prices, right? But again, they make money from people like agents that buy their supplies and resell it to us. So again, everyone's making fucking money here because the factories essentially putting up their products on these marketplaces, and then the agents are going to be buying it for a higher percentage, which then they go ahead and resell to us. Hopefully this is making sense, right? But let me further get deeper. So like I said right here, we have a couple of B2B platforms. The most untapped one that this one's fucking crazy. It's called 1688. Okay, so 1688 is literally the godfather of products. These are real deal factory prices, and I'm going to be showing you guys later in this video, so stay tuned. 1688 gives products to AliExpress, and yes, before you say anything, Ali has been drop shipping us this whole entire time. So the AliExpress price that you thought was amazing is actually the drop shipper price that they're getting us on. You know what I'm saying? Because what AliExpress is doing is they're hitting up 1688 right here. They're getting these crazy factory prices and they're essentially reselling it to us when we go on AliExpress. And we're thinking like, holy shit, we just got a crazy ass deal. But in reality, we're getting drop shipped. But here comes the gist here, right? Here comes the caveat, right? So the only way to buy from 1688 is to have a valid Chinese ID. And this is something that we don't have, okay? So this is how they get us. I can't personally go on 1688.com and get products from there because I don't have a valid Chinese ID. And this is exactly where the private supplier comes in, and she's able to assist you with this process because she's Chinese, and then she's able to ship out the products to you, and now you get it. Okay, so it's all a full-fledged kind of system here that when you get it, you're like, oh, okay, this actually makes sense now. You know what I'm saying? So where do we kind of go from here, right? How do we actually source products on 1688, right? Because now with this information, with this intel, we're like, all right, well, now I know exactly where these private suppliers are getting all their products. So what I can do with this information is leverage it to my my profit, essentially, my profit margins, right? Because again, something that that a lot of people in the dropshipping space don't. I'd say like 90% of people don't know about this, right? So now you're going to use your fucking brain. You're going to put your thinking cap on, and you're going to be like, all right, well, how can I benefit from this as well, right? So this is exactly what you do, all right? So you need to actually source your products this way, right? So what you're going to do is once you find your validated product, your winning product, either on your burner, on the AliExpress way, whatever it may be, you want this specific product, right? All you have to do is you have to image search the product, right? So I'm going to be using the good old the gaming console, the retro gaming console right here that we all kind of know about, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to screenshot this from your competitor site, from AliExpress, wherever it may be, wherever you source it from, and then all you have to do is you have to send the image /name to your private supplier, and then ask them if they could source it for you. So in 1688, actually, fuck it, I'm going to leak everything, whatever. We're going to go into the website here. All right. I didn't want to do this because I'm going to have to like blur a whole bunch of crap up, but it is what it is. We're in the trenches. So again, this is all in Chinese, Mandarin Chinese. You're not going to be able to understand anything. So what you have to do is just go here and click English. And nice, we can't even translate it. It's fine. I've done this a couple of times. So what you have to do is, obviously, you're going to be seeing the homepage, and you're going to see this little icon right here for the picture. So what you have to do is, again, I'm going to have to probably blur all this shit out, but you're going to pretty much go ahead and put in your product picture. So again, I'm going to go ahead and open that right now. It's going to come up right here. Like I said, it's the purple retro gaming console, and we're just going to wait until it finally finds it. And as you guys can see, we have hundreds of different variations, not even different variations. They're the same variations, but different factories that are selling it and essentially putting it on 1688. So as you guys can see, the lowest option that I can see with my two eyes right now is the 135 yuan, okay, option right here. So essentially what I would do is I would click on this. I would take a look. Okay, perfect. This looks legit. We have multiple variations here with different colors. Amazing, amazing. And again, it's going to vary between 135 yuan to 160, but we're going to go for the lowest, for the lower end right here for the purple one, right? So it's 135 yuan. So what I need you to understand is, again, you're going to be seeing all these options, and pretty much 135 yuan. What the hell is that, Kevin? So what we're going to do here is we're going to search up 135 yuan to US dollars. Okay. So right here, you guys can see that it's $18. These guys are sourcing this for $18, right? This is the actual factory price. And again, they are selling this. Actually, don't let me go ahead. I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but essentially they are getting it for 18 bucks. And again, what you're going to do is you're going to send the image of this to your private supplier. Okay. And you're going to be like, hey, I want you to source this for me. And you have to literally show them like, hey, I know what you're going to probably be paying this for. Because again, this is like information that they're going to be like, what the fuck? How do you know about 1688? So again, this is exactly what you're going to do when it comes to sourcing your product. All right. So what I want you to see here is the comparison to AliExpress. So as you guys can see, I literally searched this product up on AliExpress and it came out to $126. Don't worry about the 70% off just because this super deal only applies for your first purchase. But I want you to take a look right here, guys. These motherfuckers are selling it for $126 on AliExpress, okay? And in your head, you're thinking, oh, I'm getting a fucking dealio here. But in reality, they're getting this bitch for $18.51, on 1688, this site that, we can't access, but now we have this like crazy knowledge that we can use to our advantage. Okay. So this is when you start to understand this whole thing. Like, holy shit, I've been getting drop shipped this whole time. And I'm going to be a complete, I'm going to be honest. I just learned this like probably 3 months ago. Right. And I've been doing this for like over 6 months. And again, this just happened to me. It's just part of the game. But the moment you understand this is when you're like, okay, now I understand the game. Let me go ahead and play it. Right. So how do we actually play this to our advantage? So here comes the negotiation section of the video. Hopefully you guys are still following. If you're fucking watching this still, I'm going to reward you with this sauce right here. Okay. So how to properly negotiate, right? So again, what you're going to do, like I said before, is you're going to send them that 1688 price with the picture, and you're going to start leveraging this with your sales, right? So again, typically when you start negotiating with a private supplier, you are getting some sort of sales, some sort of traction. But most of the time, what I like to do now with like picking my products out, I'll straight up just send them the 1688 pick and be like, yo, like hook me up. You know what I'm saying? If they can't help me, what I'll do is I'll actually hit up other private suppliers. Like here, I'll hit up other private suppliers and negotiate pricing. Okay, so again, I'm going to be actually showing you guys a live example of me doing this the other day. Or not the other day, but like a couple months ago. But again, this is something that you're going to be 100% needing to do when it comes to getting the best prices, okay? And again, another way to get the cheapest price is actually doing MOQ, so minimum order quantity, and actually getting inventory. But this is something that we as dropshippers don't necessarily like to do. This is something for, when you're starting your own brand, you're scaling, and you're actually having to order inventory to get the cheapest price, right? This is like the MOQ option that, we organic dropshippers don't necessarily like to do. But let me go ahead and show you an actual example of me doing this, right? So here, again, this is kind of blurred out. There's some really sensitive information here, but This was when I was like a fucking crook, right? I had no motion. I was barely getting any sales. And this was the first time me, kind of trying to negotiate with my supplier. So I'm not going to go ahead and read all this, but you guys can go ahead and take a look. This was all chat GPT, by the way. I did not fucking type this, but I was pretty much like, hey, we've been working together for a long time now. Just wanted to see if you could provide me with a better cost of goods, a better price. That's a little bit more competitive because again, I was seeing, competitors in my space that were essentially selling the same product for a lot cheaper. And I'm like, all right, bro, I got to actually lock in and start negotiating. Right. So again, he pretty much said, fuck you. And said, yo, for this product, I can only provide like a couple dollars off, like literally nothing, not even a dollar. I think there's like a couple like cents, like 50 cents off. He pretty much was like, yo, you got no motion. You're barely getting any sales. And there's no proof of like other suppliers like hitting you up to provide you with a better deal, so we're just going to give you like 50 cents off, fuck you. Then once I actually started getting motion, okay, getting consistent sales, hitting 10K months, I pretty much started hitting up other suppliers. And I was like, yo, I hope you're doing well. I wanted to reach out regarding our current pricing. Another supplier recently contacted me and offered bada bing along with tiered discounts. So this was when I was like getting a little bit of traction. Other suppliers were locking in with me. And I came, with the same deal with him. He was like, listen, bro, I got you. Like this time he went down like $4 and also provided me with these tiered discounts. So again, when you have motion, when you're getting sales, this is exactly when you should go ahead and start negotiating with your private supplier immediately to be able to go down in pricing. So again, I was like, all right, cool. I was like, what are your shipping times and what shipping lines do you use? Just to make sure that I was getting provided like the best shipping possible as well. Right. So he was like 6 to 12 days to USA, 6 to 10 days to EU, UniExpress, right? Like I said, UniExpress is kind of like the universal shipping that all these suppliers pretty much use. Right. And so again, I came back with this information to my other supplier that hit me up and pretty much offered me a fucking insane deal that, my guy right here could not provide me with. I was like, yo, can you do better? He was like, I cannot. And I was like, okay. And that was the end of our relationship. Me and this guy worked for a minute, got a lot of sales with this guy, made this guy a lot of money. But again, he couldn't pretty much keep up with my other suppliers. So again, this is kind of like the name of the game. You're essentially just negotiating back and forth to find the best possible price to be able to hit that 70% profit margin. And again, guys, we do organic, so our fucking margins are absolutely insane. And so this is just going to add on top of it. But this is like actual tactical information that you can go ahead and apply right the frick now to your stores to be able to do this, right? Because at the end of the day, this is something that took me months and months and months to understand. But the moment you actually understand this, you actually could put it into play and immediately start taking the advantages of this, right? Because this is stuff that like no fucking mentor is going to teach you, or maybe they will, but they're going to charge you like 10 fucking 15 grand, right? But at the end of the day, it's all a business. This is all a business. Your private supplier she isn't doing this from the kindness of her heart. She doesn't like necessarily like care about you. She doesn't give a shit about you. She just wants to make as much money as possible, right? But again, don't get too attached to your suppliers. Just because you've been with them for a while now doesn't mean that they actually give a fuck about you. Because at the end of the day, this guy, I thought he gave a crap about me, but it's all about the money, man. It's all about the money, and I absolutely respect that. This is the name of the game. But again, pretty much key takeaways here. Your private supplier isn't necessarily like giving you the best price most of the time because you didn't know this information. And now that you do, you can go ahead and come at her with, this knowledge and pretty much be like, yo, I know how much you're getting this shit for. I know how much you're scamming me. Give me a better price, negotiate using, the 1688 price, as well as like the amount of sales that you're getting. Also, if you have other stores that you've like scaled in the past, also show them that for proof, right? And again, this is pretty much just a negotiation game. And the moment you understand this, you start printing more money. Again, this was a short one today. Okay. If you guys actually enjoyed this content and found any sort of value, the only thing I ask is to drop a like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram. And if you guys are interested in working one-on-one with me personally, I don't have any fucking coaches. You guys can go ahead and learn a little bit more about that in the description below. My students have been absolutely fucking killing it. It's been insane. It's been absolutely insane, especially with organic, bro. Like organic right now is absolutely popping. And that's my bread and butter, bro. So if you guys are interested, go ahead and take a look in the description below. But with that being said, I don't think I missed anything. Again, just be careful when it comes to these, these companies that are hitting you up, or maybe, your favorite YouTubers, like, hey, this is the best price you're ever going to get. Most of the time, these guys are getting commission. So just know that, just know that they're making money off you. But the moment you actually find and lock in a good private supplier, you're able to pretty much just expand your business and start making a little bit more money. But yeah, bro, that's going to be it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.